1 2 1 2. Hello, hello. One, two. 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. That's better. Hello, test 1 2 3 4. Hello, test 1 2 3 4. Hello, 1 2 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Good evening, this is VK3 EKH, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3 CSJ in Narre South. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, broadcasting on prime frequency of 3541 kHz in the 80 metre amateur radio band, simulcast on 160 metres on 1865 kHz. We're also broadcasting through the Melbourne Television Digital Repeater, VK3 RTV Digital Channel 1. We are now broadcasting on the prime frequency, prime channel, VK3 RTV1. Normally it's 2, but we've now been changed to Channel 1. So, welcome to Channel 1. We're also broadcasting on the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch in HD, the YouTube channel, just type in VK3CSJ in your favourite search engine, and you should, well, the YouTube search engine at least, you'll come up with the live stream. You'll see live against the video, and that is the easiest way to click on or see the YouTube channel, which will be slightly delayed. But it is there, and it's the only part of the station in HD at the moment. The HD transmitter that I normally use through the TV repeater has the boards that have gone faulty a few weeks ago have landed in Germany, and are now being looked at by the technicians at SR Systems in Germany. So hopefully they'll be able to repair the problem with the encoder or the mini mod board as soon as possible, which will be good. So good evening to Stefan if you happen to be watching. I doubt it though. And we're also got an email address, so if you wish to send signal reports to the station tonight throughout this 1 hour session, you can send an email to vk3ekh@gmail.com. vk3ekh@gmail.com. We are looking at the inbox as we speak. There's also a chat window, which is a Discord chat window, and that can be found at the moment. It can be found via the ASV website under the Radio Astronomy tab, and look for the link to the ASV broadcast, and just below the YouTube you'll see the little box with a dish in it, which will be the link to the Discord chat room. We're going to be looking into that chat room a little bit later on, or after the broadcast, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But between Richard, VK3 VRS, and myself today, we discovered that it's a bit of a mess. So, so if you're listening, Rob, Mr. XRA, we need our chat room cleaned up. Anyway, that's another story. Good evening, everybody. Trust everybody is well in this day and age that we're all in. And on the 11th of March 2022. All right, I think we have a few listeners there already. I can see that Martin, VK7JAH, is there. Roberto is there too. G'day, Rob, Mr. XRA, and ASV Radio is. Oh, it's me. So, all right, now just a quick blurb on the station situation. Not me, but the ASV, that is to say. Usual thing that I read out for newcomers and new listeners all the time. The Astronomical Society Victoria, founded 1922, we're celebrating the 100th anniversary this year, comprises well over 1,600 members throughout Victoria and Australia. Membership of the Society is open to all persons with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy and to disseminate the knowledge of the science and to provide great facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, where the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. sharp at the Mullier Hall, National Herbarium, Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is located adjacent to the Shrine of Remembrance. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive and the surrounding streets. Admission is free and visitors are most welcome. There was a meeting just last Wednesday, in fact. Privileges of membership include the right to borrow books, periodicals and other publications from the Society's extensive library located at the Melbourne Observatory. In a little while you'll be actually able to see the inside of the library. I've got some video footage courtesy of the ASV to show of the inside of the observatory and the surrounding telescopes. It's a little tour of the surrounding areas. It was created just the other day for the monthly meeting, courtesy of Lee Green and the ASV in general. Okay, so having said that, these instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector and a 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens and a recently restored photo-heliograph. Now, I was kind of hoping that the tour of the Melbourne Observatory might actually show you the restored photo-heliograph, but they take you into the dome where it would normally be set up, which is pretty dark, a little bit hard to see in the camera, but so I'm not 100% sure if we actually do end up seeing the photo-heliograph, but we do see some very interesting aspects to the observatory nevertheless. Regular Society Club Night meetings are held on the first and last Fridays of each month at the Lodge, Society's property in Burwood. Members are encouraged to use the Society's instruments located there to gain first-hand experience in how to use a telescope. The instruments include a 508mm equatorial reflector and a number of smaller reflectors. Members are also encouraged to make use of the Society's country property located near Heathcote, about a 90-minute drive north of Melbourne. There are a range of instruments available for members to use at the dark sky site, which range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture size telescope. Also located on the site is an 8.5 metre radio steerable telescope which members can access with involvement with the radio astronomy section. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes, of course, and advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same thing. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the Society. Other areas of interest the members can participate in include deep sky observing, astrophotography, lunar and planetary observing, auroral, meteor, comet and radio astronomy, computing, cosmology and astrophysics, historical studies and research in astronomy in general. Contact details for various section directors are provided in the yearbook. Further information may be obtained by visiting the ASV website, and notification of events are given in the Crux Extra Bulletin sent out via email to members as an alternative to the Crux newsletter. Please note that the ASV will conform to all government health directives. ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed as a result, but I think we're pretty right at the moment. You can, if you want to write to the ASV, you can write to the Secretary, Astronomical Society Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. Otherwise, it's all available on the ASV website at www.asv.org.au. That's www.asv.org.au. Hey you. You're tuned to ASV Radio. G'day Nebs, Cassiopeia. He's just joined the chat room. And I can see that Richard's there too, Mr. VRS. Just seeing what Cassiopeia is saying. Why the audio stream never works for me. I'm not really running the audio stream. I haven't got that one worked out yet. Got to spend some time on that, getting the old audio stream back up and running. What is it? The BUT program, B-O-T-T. Got to get that working. I say that every Friday. Never do it. Alright, now, as part of this video that I'm going to play in a short moment or two or three or four, I'll just go through a little bit of blurb on the Melbourne Observatory. I did think I had it here. Well, actually, before I do, the Messier Star Party is happening very soon. It's slated for the 26th of March, which is not that far away actually, but it is open to public to come in. You have to book. You have to go through a ticket system which is available via the ASV website. The Messier Star Party, one of the three main events that ASV puts on for members of the society, and also for public to come up and have a look at the site up there. If you visit the ASV website, again at www.asv.org.au, you'll see all the information in regards to the Messier Star Party, and there's a raffle. I think the raffle is still continuing. You can get tickets to hopefully win a very excellent prize, which the information of that is on the ASV website homepage too. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 EKH. Now, let's just what I'm about to read is also on the ASV website. It's the only quickest place I can find for this information. Melbourne Observatory commenced operations in 1863 and achieved a great deal of practical value for Victoria before it was decommissioned from the official government work in 1945. Just hang on a sec. Okay, I just heard a funny noise behind me, so I better check on that. Government work 1945. However, it has since remained in use as the Astronomical Observatory despite incursions on the site reserved by the botanical garden interests. The heritage buildings of the observatory are already protected on the basis of architectural merit in 1994, when the Board of the Royal Botanic Gardens of Victoria, RBGV, took over the statutory management of the Melbourne Observatory site. The RBGV developed the observatory gate plan to turn the site into a new gateway to its Melbourne Gardens, and signposted the place also as an observatory gate. Substantial losses of heritage took place in Phase 1 of the project, apparently contrary to the then new provisions of the Heritage Act 1995. More recently, the RBGV released some proposals for Phase 2 of the observatory gate. Community alarm resulted over proposed additional heritage losses that would have occurred and had the plan proceeded. The Melbourne Observatory is now permanently on the National Heritage List since early 2018, and it is understood with its National Heritage status that it is this unfortunate project is rightfully abandoned, and that the restoration of the whole site should proceed now, including recovering some of the cultural heritage losses that were imposed. It has since been found to be of even greater national and world significance, following successful precedences set by the Sydney Observatory and many others around the world, including another highly significant 19th century observatory, the Burr Castle in Ireland. Melbourne Observatory should become a working heritage astronomical observatory museum. The reinstallation of the reconstructed Great Melbourne Telescope of 1869 in its original building at the Melbourne Observatory is underway, with the instignation of the ASV and authentic sensitive restoration, and the entire Melbourne Observatory site should follow. Now that information is on the ASV website, just under where it says Melbourne Observatory. There's a few links there that one can follow if you want to find out some more information about what's going on. The ASV's official position on Melbourne Observatory is available for reading and download where it says here. So there's a couple of pictures there of some interesting artifacts and devices inside the observatory, but it's a key spot, key location. It's where Melbourne should be very fortunate to have such a historically based building, and it's glad that it's still being looked after with some care. So the ASV has a lot to do with the way the site is being looked after, and ASV is really concerned about just the future, and hopefully that it will be maintained and looked after. The ASV Library, of course, is part of the old radio astronomy office building, and you'll see that very briefly, mind you, in this video that I shall kick off. Now, do I run it now, or do I do it in a few minutes' time is the question. Yeah, so look, I think I did enough blue. It's 15 minutes, so there should be about enough time for folks to come up. If you want to tune into your YouTube channel, it'd be a good idea because it's very visual. So this is VK3 EKH. We'll just key up the video now. It's all ready to go. And I think all I've got to do is wind the fader up there and kill this microphone. We should be right. Now there is when the camera, which is filmed by Lee Green. G'day Lee, if you're listening. He goes outside and the wind hits the microphone of the camera pretty quickly, and it kills the audio a little bit, but it's not like that all the way through, fortunately. But that once the microphone hits once the wind hits the mic, there's just a little bit of disturbance to the audio, so it might sound funny at first to those listening on HF. So, but it does come good. So, g'day Mike. I noticed you tuning up the band several megahertz, and still saw you tuning. My band scope went off the screen. That's a problem when we're local. Anyway, alright, let's see if I can get this little bit of video. This is courtesy of Lee Green, the cameraman, who's our IT fellow and webmaster of the site, and yeah, so good on you, Lee. And the first person with the coloured hair is Mark Ascario. He's the Vice President of the ASV, and I just forget currently the name of the bloke showing them around. I can't remember his name, I should have written it down. Anyway, let's see if we can get this video queued up. So stand by for this little video run. Let's see if we can do this without too many hassles.
Where we did
Welcome to the ASV Library at the Melbourne Observatory. We're here with Alex Progodich. I got it right. Yep. Alex is a tour guide at Melbourne Observatory, and he's going to guide us around the observatory and talk to us about all of the buildings and what their roles are with the observatory. Alex, take it away.
Okay, well, we're still in here. This is in fact the first government astronomer's office, and that's his desk over there.
In 1863.
That fellow is not the government astronomer, that is our librarian. Now this is now the ASV Library, as we see it. We might move outside, and I will show you the building from outside. Okay.
He is old enough to be the governor, though.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
There you are, look.
I've got a load of food. Come with us. We're on our way outside. We come over here and turn around.
Yeah, turn around. Okay. Now this is the first building. So the observatory building.
Yep.
And the office that we're in, as we said, that's the first government astronomer's office, Robert Ellery. And over here on the right we have got, and over there we've got the meteorological rooms at the top, and also a zenith sector room, which is where a telescope can look basically up at a certain section of the sky. Now if you just pan around this way, we'll move around to the back of the building here.
So where are we going now?
Just going to the back of this main building here, and we can see where the original telescope was, and that was the telescope that came out of Williamstown. In fact, the first observatory was not in Melbourne, it was in Williamstown. So the telescope was in that dome. It's not there at the moment, but that was the dome where the 4.5-inch refractor came from Williamstown. Now you might just come over here. There's not a lot to see, but
We'll give it a go. We're going to go and have a look at the zenith, are we?
Yeah. No, there's nothing in there.
No, but the slit's still there, isn't it? In the building? No? Oh.
This slit, however, you can just go through there. You just see through the bushes. There is a slit there, and that's the window for the transit. That's the window for the transit room, where the transit telescope from Williamstown came from, and that's actually one side of it. Now, at the moment, there's nothing in there. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll come back to that a little bit later, the transit room, when we go around to the other side.
So we're going on.
We'll move over to the GMT house. So if we wander over to the car park here.
So with the GMT house, it's obviously where the Great Melbourne Telescope used to reside.
Indeed.
Yep.
That was where the house was built around the telescope.
Yep.
The telescope was actually bought in 1869, and it was built by Thomas Grubb in Dublin, and was brought out here and in fact erected in the spot right there. Now the actual house had to be built around it. The house itself has a roll-off roof. You can see the roof of it, and you can actually see the
beams.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can see the beams where it runs on, but also what look like little dormer windows are actually the wheels.
Oh, okay.
And so the whole roof slides back to reveal the telescope.
Now, has that been restored recently?
It has indeed, and it's actually now functioning.
Yep.
And it has been tested prior to COVID, I think it was 2 Christmases ago. It's actually electrified now. You can actually move it back.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Yep.
and it's being restored. Now, if you just pan back over to the actual chimney there, you can see the chimney. That used to house the boiler room to operate the steam engine to actually polish the mirrors.
Oh, okay.
So the actual telescope, the Grubb telescope, was a 48-inch Cassegrain, and it had metal, speculum metal mirrors.
Okay.
And they needed to be polished all the time, so they had to have 2 of them. So polishing one, then use it, and polish the other one. So in fact that was where the steam engine was, and they would need to polish it continually. You can see they are actually going to restore the whole building back
It's
to
good to see.
And the GMT, hopefully, which is now actually at the Science Works Museum at the moment,
Yep.
not complete yet, will actually return home to its site.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Yes, it is.
So
Now,
where to from here? What have we got left to look at?
we might wander over to the 8-inch telescope.
So the 8-inch, as in.
That is a refractor.
Yep.
That's the only telescope that was still here after the observatory was closed in 1945. So that stayed here all the time. All the other telescopes were in fact sold off.
So I know the GMT went up to Canberra.
Indeed, went up to Canberra.
Do we know where the other ones went? And are they still around?
Yeah, the photo heliograph was actually sold, and as part of the sale they were allowed to leave it there till about 1963. After 1963 it had to be moved, and in fact one of our members actually has bought it and restored it and brought it back.
Oh, so we have it back
time
now.
for the 2004 transit of Venus.
I've seen
at the
photos
moment,
of that as well. So
Sorry?
I've seen photos of that.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Now, it's not actually in there at the moment because these domes, as you can see, have been restored, and it would normally be in there, and it was removed from there, but eventually it will come back in there. So that first dome you see is actually the photo heliograph house, and that's where the photo heliograph is.
Can we go for a wander inside?
Yeah, we're going to go inside. Hopefully there's enough light in here for you. I might just open the blind, give you a little bit more light. Okay. We'll open the room up. As I said, the photo heliograph normally lives in this room. And was removed for safekeeping while they did the restoration work.
Now, hopefully it's bright enough in here. Is it bright enough in here?
Not quite at the moment.
Not bright enough?
No,
Okay.
that's okay.
You're sure about the light.
Okay. Well, we won't bother about that because the actual telescope's not here anyway. So
Beautiful to see though. I'm glad it's been restored.
It has been, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How does that help? Are we good now?
Not much.
Not much.
No, anyway, it doesn't really matter.
We'll move on to the next one because there's no telescope here.
Now we'll head up the stairs, and while we're heading up the stairs you might just have a quick look with your camera at the mechanism, which is the governor that controls the speed, which is actually a falling weight drive, and that controls the speed of the rotation of this telescope. Okay, we'll head up the stairs now.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
And this is the 8-inch refractor telescope. As I said, both telescopes were actually set up here in 1874 for the transit of Venus at the same time. So both buildings were made in the transit of Venus for both telescopes. Now, this is a refractor. The lens on it is what we call a doublet lens, one of the first doublet lenses that prevents any sort of chromatic aberration occurring when you're looking at the images.
Don't know if that helps.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Good,
doesn't help, but that's okay.
Okay. We could actually, I think we can actually, if you want more light.
Yeah, if we
offer
can.
the,
Oh, look at this. We're going to open the roof.
okay, if I can remember how to do it. It's been 2 years.
Been 2 years.
That's the way. The rope's actually a bit twisted. So the opportunity was to get it back again.
Oh, that's a lot more light.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Wow, look at that.
So this is an equatorial mount. This is your polar axis, and this is measures the right section of the hour angle, and that's how we actually adjust the position of the telescope in its position in the sky. Yes, this is the actual drive. Now, if I wind it up and get it going, I can actually probably, I think it has been wound up, so if I actually turn that on, you should be able to see the mechanism. It's been a while, so maybe I'll actually... No, there she goes, she's starting to move.
Oh yes, I can see
Right.
that now, yeah.
So if we want to track the object in the night sky, we'll have that on. Of course, we would lock it in position. At the moment, it's virtually unlocked, so I lied about that. It should have been unlocked. Let's store it away. But okay, that's unlocked position. But when it's locked in position and you've got the object that you that, you basically just leave that in that position and that will track it through the sky. You also have the other adjustment, which is your declination, which is the angle up and the angle down from the equator. So if it's up, it's what we call positive or in the north. If it's down, it's in the south.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, we might move on to the next one. Okay, I will close that.
Close that up.
Just before you lock the mechanism off,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
just
head on down.
I'll see if you can see it turning here.
Isn't that amazing technology? Love it.
Okay.
Don't make them like that anymore.
Oh, he's turned it off.
He's turned it off on us. All right, we're going to head over to, where are we going now, Alex? We're going to the
We will head over to the magnet house.
Magnet House. We're going to go over to the Magnet House now. So, which is this building over here. This is the Magnet House.
Now that building, called the Magnet House, and was built in 1877. Not the first magnet house here. There was actually an absolute magnet house there where they're doing the Shakespeare at the moment. And there's an area for the absolute magnet house there. This is the second one that was built. Could even be the third one. 1877. And in there was housed, apart from magnetometers, also measurements of temperature, pressure, and a seismograph for measuring, earthquakes and earth tremors and various things like that. Most of that was done in the basement. Now,
I think I've been in there once.
yes,
Once, yeah.
we used to have our presentations and that in there at one stage. Now, that house was used until about 1913, and the reason why it couldn't be used was that they actually electrified the trams in St Kilda Road. That would upset all the magnetic measurements. So the next transit house, which probably was built and completed, I'm not sure when, was in Talangi State Forest.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Long way
far away from any trams.
Yes.
Hopefully no trams will go out that way.
Now we're going to finish on the most impressive
Indeed.
part of the Melbourne Observatory.
But before we finish on that, just while we're here,
Oh, yes.
right on this particular line, you see these tiles here, and you see that window there? That is a new, over there in that direction, that's the new transit house, or Eastern Transit House. That was built because the geology was not very stable. So they ended up having to have a special transit telescope built, in which case they could make adjustments. And there's an obelisk at the end there where there was a marker there. If that tree wasn't there, the marker's not there anymore, but there's a plaque to say that's where it was. And this is the meridian line for the Melbourne Observatory. Okay, now we will go to the last one, which is this very impressive looking dome over here. This one's called the Astrograph House.
And it doesn't sell ice cream.
It's a big ice cream.
It doesn't sell ice cream at the moment.
That's
It's
a
a bit
misnomer,
disappointing
yeah.
because I wanted one this afternoon.
I could do with an ice cream at the moment as well.
False advertising.
Misleading the public, is that it?
Something like that.
So what telescope is inside this building?
This is actually the Astronomical Society Victoria's telescope.
This is our telescope in
Our
here.
telescope in here. The original telescope was in fact the Astrograph, and we won't be able to see that. The only way you can see that at the moment is to go to the Sydney Observatory, and it's actually been restored and it's in a prize box.
But we can't get it back. Greedy buggers, they want everything, don't they?
Well, hopefully we could get back, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Technical difficulties of the key not wanting to work at the moment.
It's okay, the wind's
All right, we've got it, we've got
It's
it.
been
Now,
a few
the wind's
years
playing
since
up
it's
on the
been...
audio anyway.
That's all right.
on in here. Okay.
I'll hold that open for a moment.
If we just use that wedge over there. Actually, if we will actually come around, no, we'll go upstairs first. We'll look at the telescope that we have, and then I'll talk about the telescope that was here. Okay, so we'll head up the stairs. This is the floor level of the actual, where the original telescope was. This has been built specifically, this platform, to house our telescope.
Did we disable the
Did we
alarm?
disable the alarm? Russell's doing
Yes,
it for
yes.
us.
No, that's all right. So we head up here.
Apologies for the alarm sound, everyone.
And in fact, this is our telescope. This was in fact installed in here. I haven't actually remember the exact date, but about 1936 vintage. This is Jeffrey, the maker of the telescope in Bendigo.
Yep.
And this was actually originally had its own house, but eventually put in this position here. We were allowed to put it in this.
So when was it put here?
Yeah, actually, good question. I'm not that good with dates. I can check my notes.
A long time. We'll go with a long time ago.
Oh, not that long ago in terms of the history, but around about 1950 or something like that, maybe even earlier. 1936 is the vintage of the actual telescope. Yeah. The reason why I did science was because I'm no good with dates. I'd have to check with other people about that.
So this is the one we're going to have running tonight.
We'll be running tonight, and we'll be looking the moon. We'll also have the other one running as well.
Okay, we're both going.
We'll have both going tonight. We'll be able to look at.
For those of you at home, suffer. We don't get to look through it this time, but we are going to try and get these open for people again, aren't we?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So keep an eye out because we're trying to bring back the public viewing nights at the observatory.
Yes, the public viewing night will be coming back. Also, we have the event which is on the 7th...
9th, on the 9th of April, but it's sold out.
Yeah,
sold out very quickly. So,
yes. Yes, but we will be trying to run public viewing nights.
Yeah, that is the long-term goal.
Yes, that's the long-term goal. Now, the actual telescope that was in here was called the Astrograph, and you might come over here. There's a photo of it on the board here, the Melbourne Astrograph. And you can see the size of it, and you can see where the windows are. There's a window there, those are the windows down there on the actual, on the board there. So you can see this platform is meant for this particular telescope. Now, that's actually a camera, that's why it's called the Astrograph, and the actual camera is the larger telescope,
Okay.
13 inch.
Yep.
The actual finder scope, or the one that you look through, is a 10 inch.
That's quite a big...
That's a very large camera.
That finder scope's bigger than my telescope.
Yeah. How are we going for time?
I think we're almost finished.
Almost finished. So what we'll do is, it was there to take photographs of the night sky for the Carte de Ciel project. So we'll go down the stairs.
Oh, there's some astrophotographers that use the Carte de Ciel program. Yes. They refer to it.
And we'll have a look at the, they had so many photographic plates, they had to have computers to actually go through and analyse all the plates. So if we go around to the room, to the side, you can actually see one of the computers. And when I take the public through here, they all say, well, there it is. That's the computer. No, that's not the computer. That's actually, she's the actual computer there. The young women were employed to actually analyse the photographs.
That's just the viewing piece.
That's the viewing piece. This one's actually not functioning, although we'd like to get it going, but that's actually what she's looking at there, looking at the glass plates and viewing them and measuring to quite high precision the actual positions of all the stars. Now, Melbourne and Sydney were in fact part of the greater Carte de Ciel project, worldwide project, and Melbourne had the job of analysing all the plates.
So Sydney would take the images...
And Melbourne.
And Melbourne, okay.
Yeah, Melbourne had up to, from the south celestial pole to about 52 degrees, and there was an overlap from about 50 odd degrees up to 60 something for Sydney to do.
And then they would send their plates
Yeah, all the plates would come here. Initially we had about 6 young women employed here. Eventually there were 11, and one or two of them ended up with in professional positions. So in fact they were the first women working in the public service of the Victorian government, and they weren't allowed to be married, so some of them didn't bother to tell.
So some of them were married but didn't say anything.
Didn't say anything yet.
Don't blame
So anyway, there's a statement there, Robert Ellery: young women of ordinary intelligence can be quickly trained in the use of the micrometer and do measurements quickly and well. Well, that's probably the best you could do as a compliment in those days, but the women turned out to be extremely good at the job.
So extremely intelligent, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a timely way to end, because it was International Women's Day yesterday as well.
It was
so
indeed, yes, indeed.
We thank them for their service, and we thank you for giving us a tour of the Melbourne Observatory, and we thank everybody who's watching this, and we apologise for the sound every now and then. There was some issues because of wind, but we hope you enjoyed the tour of Melbourne Observatory.
Thank you.
Okay, this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast. And I do apologise if the audio was in fact difficult to hear on HF. That was all out of my control, but unfortunately the wind across the microphone on the camera took the audio out of control a bit, and unfortunately the other problem was once they walked into an observatory, the echo in the dome also kind of ruined things a little bit. So it was more of a visual excursion, really. So I hope that you folded it up on the YouTube channel during that time, and also for those watching the ATV repeater would have seen it as well. So thanks to Lee Green for that video, and that was screened at last week's monthly meeting at the National Herbarium in Melbourne. And it was a very quick trip through part of Melbourne Observatory, not all of it, and so, as Alex indicated, some of the telescopes were actually sold to the Sydney Observatory or elsewhere. So it was interesting to I was hoping that he was going to go inside the magnetometer house, but I don't know I'm not sure what instruments were still sitting in the magnetometer house, the seismograph and all that, but as he pointed out, once the trams were introduced to Melbourne City, the amount of influence that would have been created by the high voltage and all that metal would have affected things like magnetometers and certainly the seismographs as well. So one of those things about human development, I suppose. All right. Well, again, I hope you managed to get something out of that, but it could have been a little bit better with the audio quality. So apologies for that as well. Thanks, Mike, for your comments. I can see Mike VK3 XL's made a few comments there too. So thanks, Mike. At first, the audio on HF was too much at my end. I had it wound down, but I was still overdriving the front end of the the radios here, so I had to kill the audio a little bit to get that back a little bit. I think I managed to recover it to some degree. What I was hearing in the headphones didn't sound too bad, except for when the wind hit the microphone. All right, there it is, VK3 EKH. Now, I guess the next thing, it is only about 18 minutes to 11, so we'll throw in a few articles that I do have here. Let me see if I can just key up the next thing I was going to present tonight. Let's go with that one, I think. Yeah, so I've got a graphic of this, so I'll just bring up the graphic. And there's my audio back, and I shall go to the article. This is a kind of like a question thing that's asked on astronomy.com by readers. Could the International Space Station park in one spot over the Earth? March 2, 2022. So the question is, why does the International Space Station orbit Earth? Couldn't it just remain parked over one spot? Well, the International Space Station orbits Earth at an average altitude of 200 to 250 miles, or 322 to 402 kilometres. A geostationary orbit, or one where the ISS would stay parked over the same spot on Earth, would require the station to have an altitude around 22,000 miles, or 36,000 kilometres above the equator. In theory, that would work, but the ISS had one major obstacle holding it back from reaching those heights. Was the space shuttle. I'll just read that sentence again. But the ISS had one major obstacle holding it back from reaching those heights: the space shuttle. Full stop. Most of the International Space Station was assembled using NASA's space shuttle, which was designed to fly into low Earth orbit. The fleet of orbiting spacecraft was only able to achieve an orbital altitude between 190 to 330 miles, or 304 to 528 kilometres. Luckily, everything space agencies wanted to study aboard the International Space Station, including microgravity and space environment, could be achieved in low Earth orbit. There are a few other reasons to keep the International Space Station in low Earth orbit as well. Not only do launches and cargo shipments get exponentially more expensive the higher the station is, but they also get more dangerous. There are zones of radiation above the planet consisting of energetic charged particles trapped by the Earth's magnetic field. These regions are called the Van Allen belts. They wax and wane, but generally the inner belt sits at 643 to 9,700 kilometres, and the outer belt stretches as far as from 8,400 kilometres to 36,000. I'm getting my miles and kilometres mixed up here. The outer belt stretches as far as 13,400 kilometres to 58,000 kilometres above the Earth. So putting the International Space Station even a little higher than its current orbit would expose the astronauts living on the station to the hazards of the inner belt, and reaching geostationary orbit would put them within the outer radiation zone. So that's it. That was the response to that question. It sounds like a fair enough thing to decide to do that, put the International Space Station in a geostationary orbit, but as the author said, the complications were that the space shuttle didn't go that far, and of course the radiation belts, which you would have seen on that graphic that I had up. So I've been holding on that article for a couple of weeks now. This is VK3 EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, 15 minutes to 11. The other thing I have here, let's see, that would probably take me up to the hour. Okay, how big is that article? Yeah, that's not too long. Alright, now, from astronomy.com. Ice holds evidence of ancient massive solar storm. An analysis of radioactive chemicals in ice cores indicates one of the most powerful solar storms ever hit Earth around the year 7176 BC. This is written on March the 3rd, 2022. For a few nights more than 9,000 years ago, at a time when many of our ancestors were wearing animal skins, the northern skies would have been bright with flickering lights. Telltale chemical isotopes in ancient ice cores suggest that one of the most massive solar storms ever took place around 7176 BC, and it would have been noticed. We know that most high-energy events are accompanied by geomagnetic storms, said Raymond Machisa, a professor of geology at Sweden's Lund University, so it's likely that there were visible auroras at the time. Musula is the senior author of a study published in January in the journal Nature Communications, reporting evidence of the ancient event that resulted in a massive flux of high-energy particles of gamma rays striking the Earth. The event created distinctive radioactive varieties of beryllium and chlorine in the atmosphere. Those isotopes then fell to the ground with the early seasonal snowfall and were preserved in layers of ancient ice. The cause was almost certainly a solar storm of protons, electrons and ions called solar energetic particles, or CEPs, although galactic gamma X-ray bursts and supernovas would have left a similar chemical signature in the ice. The researchers have now examined ice cores from several drilling projects in Greenland and Antarctica, a difficult and time-consuming task. In fact, I've got a picture here to show of that. Let me just bring up this graphic of the snow cores, ice cores that they've been drilling. Audio keeps disappearing when I do that. So, as you can see on the image on YouTube, they're the ice cores, some of the ice cores that have been drilling out from the ice there in Greenland and Antarctica. In ice cores from both regions, they saw evidence of 3 CEP events that are known to have occurred in 993 AD or 994, in 774 and 775 AD, and as far as 660 BC, are all associated with solar storms. But they also found evidence of another large CEP event, unrecorded before now, that occurred around about 7,176 BC, or about 9,200 years ago. Because its strength could be estimated by the levels of radioactive isotopes of beryllium and chlorine, they determined that the solar storm in 7,176 BC was so severe that if a similar intense storm happened today, it could have catastrophic consequences, including knocking out satellites in orbit, disrupting communication networks and blacking out electricity grids. The known events of the last 70 years, where we have instrumental data, were all much smaller. These ancient events, he noted, were about 10 times larger. The researchers say a puzzling feature of the 7,176 BC solar storm is that it occurred during a supposedly quiet phase known as solar minimum of the 11-year solar activity cycle, when solar storms are unlikely. They warn against risk assessments don't properly take this possibility into account. But solar physicist Dean Pasnell of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, who wasn't involved in the study, calculates the 7,176 BC storm occurred not during the actual solar minimum, but at the start of a new solar activity cycle. Pasnell, who's the project scientist for the Solar Dynamics Observatory, said solar storms can occur at the end of the declining phase of the solar activity cycle. Typically, they're not typical, but they are not unexpected either. Jan Janssens, a communications specialist at the Solar Terrestrial Centre of Excellence in Brussels, which coordinates international studies of the Sun, agrees with Pasnell that solar storms can occur at the very start or very end of the solar activity cycle. It's possible, he said in an email. Clearly that doesn't happen too often, and certainly not during a solar cycle minimum, but it apparently does once in a while. And if the solar storm did not happen during the solar minimum, but instead occurred at the start of a new solar cycle, that would undermine the researchers' warning that such storms can happen at the time and are not being properly accounted for. The solar activity cycle is caused by the entanglement and disentanglement of Sun's powerful magnetic fields. Sunspots and solar storms are more common near the cycle's maximums and less common near the minimums. Mary Hudson, a professor of physics at astronomy at Dartmouth College who studies solar storms, said that if the 7,176 BC storm happened near a solar minimum, it might have been more severe than usual as a result. Storms near a solar maximum, however, might be less severe than usual as a result, although they are more common. The solar mechanism behind this apparent peculiarity is not understood. However, some scientists dispute that it really exists. Hudson, who also wasn't involved in the ice core study, noted in an email that the famously powerful solar storm observed by astronomers in 1859 called the Carrington event also occurred near a solar minimum, as did the powerful solar storm back in AD 774 and 775. So far, the modern world hasn't been very badly affected by solar storms. Jansen's noted that they can badly damage satellites, threaten the health of astronauts in space with bursts of intense radiation, and interfere for several hours with radio signals used by communication networks and for navigation by ships and aircraft and ham radio operators. They can also, it doesn't say that, but I thought I'd throw it in. They can also damage power grids by creating unexpected electric currents that overcome a grid's transformers. Some of the worst solar storms in recent memory, the Halloween storms of 2003, blacked out parts of Europe for several hours and damaged transformers in South Africa, while an intense solar storm in 1989 blacked out the Canadian province of Quebec. But Parsnell said power companies have become more aware of the risks in recent years and have hardened their equipment against solar storm damage. This is VK3 EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast. Yes, well, there you go. Solar storms can happen at any time, I gather from that article. And of course, Elon Musk's Starlink satellites, they lost about 30 satellites just a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if they managed to recover any of them, but certainly there was a bit of a problem there with the incident, which our space weatherwoman did report on at the time. Alright, is there something else I can throw into the mix tonight? How big is this article? I'd like to talk about Pioneer 10. Mumble. Curious, what's this one? Oh, yes. No, okay. Oh, this is a short one. Alright, this is published March 11, 2022. The start of the birth of planets in a binary star system has been observed. Now, I've got a graphic for that. Alright, back to the story. What you're seeing on the screen here is the ALMA observations of dust in the disks around SVS13. It's a real picture. Models of planet formation suggest that planets form by the slow aggregation of ice and dust particles in protoplanetary disks around forming stars. Usually these models consider only single stars, such as the Sun. However, most stars form binary systems in which two stars rotate around a common centre. Very little is yet known about how planets are born around these important twin star systems in which the gravitational interaction between the two stars plays an essential role. Our results have revealed that each star has a disk of gas and dust around it, and that in addition a larger disk is forming around both stars. The outer disk shows a spiral structure that is feeding matter into the individual disks, and in all of them, planetary systems could form in the future. This is clear evidence of the presence of disks around both stars and the existence of a common disk in binary systems. The binary system SVS13, consisting of two stellar embryos with a total mass similar to that of the Sun, is relatively close to us, about 980 light years away in the Perseus molecular cloud, allowing its detailed study. The two stars in the system are very close to each other, with a distance of only about 90 times that between the Earth and the Sun. The work has made it possible to study the composition of gas, dust and ionized matter in the system. In addition, near 30 different molecules have been identified around both protostars, including 13 complex organic molecules, precursors of life, 7 of them detected for the first time in this system. This means that when planets begin to form around these two suns, the building blocks of life will be there. The scientific team has used the observations of SVS13 obtained by the VLA over 30 years together with new data from ALMA, and has followed the motion of both stars over this period, which has allowed their orbit to be traced, as well as the geometry and orientation of the system, along with many fundamental parameters such as the mass of the protostars, the mass of the disks, and their temperatures. At the IAA, we began studying the system 25 years ago, and we were surprised when we discovered that the SVS13 was a radio binary. Because only one star is seen in the optical, normally stellar embryos are detected in radio, but they only become visible at the end of the great gestation process. It was very strange to discover a pair of twin stars where one of them seemed to have evolved much faster than the other. We designed several experiments to get more details and to find out in each such case, either of the stars could form planets. Now we have seen that both stars are very young and both can form planets. SVS13 has generated much debate in the scientific literature, as some studies consider it to be extremely young and others consider it to be in the later stages. This new study, probably the most complete study of a binary star system in formation, not only sheds light on the nature of two protostars and their environment, but also provides crucial parameters for testing numeral simulations of the early stages of binary and multiple system formation. There it is, protostar systems being developed 980 light years away. We can see that, so it really is quite stunning stuff. Okay, we're coming up to the hour, and even though I had plenty there, I just didn't realise that little video that I ran went for a little bit too long. I thought it would be only about 10 minutes or so. So we shall go to the solar weather report then. So this is spaceweather.com. Now I've got a few little graphics here that I can bring up, so why not? Let's see, this is the latest disk of the sun. Back again. So what we're seeing there, and of course it's best to see this on the YouTube channel because it's HD, high definition. The ATV repeater is struggling on the details there. It's not the repeater, it's me, because I'm transmitting only standard def. Solar wind is currently at 382.1 kilometers a second at a density of 11.3 protons per cubic centimeter. Currently on the disk of the sun, which you see up there, there's 5 sunspots on the disk of the sun as we speak. If the sun was in the sky right now and you took out your telescope with all the necessary protective gear on the telescope, of course, you'd see these sunspots, near enough at least. The sunspot number is currently 90. The radio sun is currently at 127 solar flux units, measured at 10.7 centimeter wavelength. 127 solar flux units, so it's a bit active. It is definitely active, and we have a bit of a CME happening. A CME, coronal mass ejection, passed by Earth yesterday during the late hours of March 10. A CME passed Earth. It's a near miss. It sparked auroras in northern Europe and bright enough to be seen through city lights. Another CME is coming, but it won't miss. That's what they say. And I've got a graphic here, so I'll just run the graphic. It's a GIF to image. Oh, I'm still there. The audio didn't go. Why didn't the audio go? How odd is that? Anyway, so it's a vMix thing. So what you're seeing there is is it going? Yeah, it's repeating. Okay. Okay, so what the next CME won't miss, a full halo CME is heading directly for Earth. The ETA is March 13. Coronagraphs on board the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory recorded the storm cloud leaving the sun just hours ago. And there it is, happening on the screens right as I speak. The bright star at the lower right of the sun is Jupiter. So that bright little speck at the right side of the image is actually Jupiter that's in frame there. And of course the disk in the centre of the Sun is a disk to block out the majority of the bright light from the Sun. In fact, the little circle that you see in the middle there is meant to represent the actual Sun, of the size of the Sun. But we need a disk in the middle there to try and block as much of the glare of the Sun as possible, so we can get these amazing sensitive images of energized particles leaving the Sun. So there it is, solar flare happening with Jupiter in shot there. So the CME is a result of long duration C2 class solar flare near the sunspot AR 2962. Normally C class flares are not considered to be strong, however this one lasted nearly 12 hours, allowing it to pump plenty of energy into the CME. Moderately strong G2 class geomagnetic storms are possible when the CME arrives. NOAA analysts are modelling the CME now and will provide predictions will be available soon. In fact, I'm sure Space Weather Lady is working hard on that one. Alrighty then, currently over Antarctica there is a very mild auroral activity. I don't think you'd be able to see anything, it's actually quite faint, so there's not much in the way of auroral activity over Antarctica. As I speak, there are 2,000 to 271 potentially hazardous asteroids, and I'll just go back to the camera. Oh, that's not the camera, that's back there, and now back to the weather. Yes, so as I speak, there's 2,271 potentially hazardous asteroids. On that note, I think we shall come to a conclusion for tonight's broadcast. We are going to hold over some of the articles I had for tonight, and that's fine. It's no worries. It just means I'll be back here next Friday to do it all again. All right, to the stations that sent me emails, I've got emails from Don, Andrew, and Ian. Don's giving me a good signal report at 30 over 9 on 80 and 20 over 9 on 160. Great pictures on YouTube and RTV. Yep, excellent. Andrew VK3 KIS is reporting listening on 80 metres, 5 and 9 plus. Thank you, Andrew. And Ian VK3 VIN also reports that thank you for the broadcast, and it was difficult to understand due to the echo. Yes, I agree. I won't play that again, alright? We do try to strive for a little bit of quality with the picture and the audio side of things, so yeah. Anyway, all right. It was something that if you had have been listening on YouTube, the sound would have been a bit better. But on HF, it was a part of it was a bit lost. I'm sorry to say. All right. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel with VK3 Charlie Sierra Juliet on the microphone, closing down the 160 meter band service, medium wave service on 1865 kilohertz. So all stations listening on 160, thank you for listening, and there won't be any callback, but on 80 metres only. So for more information about the Astronomical Society of Victoria, go to the website at www.asv.org.au. Any information about the station can be found on the qrz.com homepage. Just type in VK3 EKH and more about the station, including pictures, will be revealed there, and conversely with the home call VK3 CSJ for what it's worth. Alright, is there anything else? I can't think of it, so that's it. This is VK3 EKH concluding 1865 and standby stations on 80 metres. This is VK3 EKH. Oh, noise. Lots of funny buzz on 160, I don't know where that's coming from. It's just down. What's doing that? It's been there all day. Really horrible switch mode type power supply noise. It's pretty gross. All right, I'm just hoping that 80 metres hasn't got it, or I will be in trouble. All right, this is VK3 EKH, listening on 3541 kilohertz for any stations wishing to join in.
VK3 Kilo Golf. VK3 King George. VK3 JR. VK3 VIN. VK3 Alpha Charlie Zulu. And VK3 Bravo Foxtrot Golf.
Okay, VK3KG, VK3JR, VK3VIN, VK3ACZ, and VK3BFG. Anybody else out there? And there was a mobile station. I've got you there, Martin. Who was the mobile station? VK3 Bravo Quebec question mark. Yeah, it still didn't get it. There was another signal that came up, just blocked you out. VK3 Bravo Quebec, what was it again, sorry?
VK3 Bravo Quebec, that's the call sign.
We got it. VK3BQ, of course. All right. Sorry about that, but your signal actually came up quite strong just on that last bit too. Quite good. Sounds like you're using a codam. I can hear the little beep at the end too. All right, Craig, VK3KG, Cape Clear, VK3EKH, have a go.
Yeah, thanks, Clint, VK3EKH and the group. VK3 Kilo Golf, Cape Clear. I've got a complaint, and you're a good signal on 80 metres, 5 and 9 the plus, even a plus plus. But again, on 160, there may have been a very weak connection line just towards the end of the broadcast when I listened, but I still can't hear you. But I'm going to next week have a receiver here to see, but I haven't changed the antennas, they're all the same. So that's interesting. I think you said you were transmitting on vertical. I've only got horizontals here. However, my complaint, the quality of that audio inside the telescope in the room there, it was unreadable for me. On ACAS, it might have been alright if it had gone out on FM, but the microphone on the front of the camera, no good. I have the lead, and okay, inside once they went in. I was very interested to have heard that, but I couldn't make any use of it. And of course, the hearing at my age is also a problem, so I need maximum quality on air. But otherwise, good broadcast. Thanks very much for your work there. VK3, EKH, and the group VK3, Kilo Golf.
Signal was full scale on 160 here, Craig.
Yeah, not at Cape Clear.
Yeah, I'm just up the road. VK3 Echo.
Okay. Acknowledging Mike there. VK3KG, VK3EKH. Yeah, look, sorry, Craig. I do apologise for that. I could tell here. I had the headphones on, and as soon as I heard the echo in the dome, I'm thinking, yeah, that's not gonna sound too good anywhere. Amount of echo in the room is counterproductive to good audio. So I just knew straight away that was going to be an issue. So again, the YouTube channel would have carried it a whole lot better, or the repeater, CV repeater. But HF, yes, I understand that a good part of that was lost. So I apologise for that. But having said that, you can catch up with it if you've missed it, any part of it, and you do want to see it. As soon as you get home, I think you are home already actually, but if you go to YouTube, if you go to the YouTube site and type in the Astronomical Society of Victoria, because the ASV has its own YouTube channel, that video I downloaded off from last Wednesday. So the whole meeting from last Wednesday is available to view on YouTube at the ASV website. You'll have to fast forward it a little bit because the sequence where they go through the telescope sites at Melbourne Observatory is towards the end of the presentation that night. So if you want to skip the rest of the meeting, just go towards the end of the meeting and you'll see that. and you'll be able to put your headphones on or use your hi-fi speakers, and it'll be a whole lot betterer. Good signal, Craig. You're coming up to 20 to almost 30 over 9 towards the end there. So good. I don't know what the story is with 160. I'm running close to 400 watts on 160. So I just don't know why you're not hearing it. I'm on the vertical, a monopole down the backyard. It's near the creek. I know that Mike up at Bateman's Bay, VK2 ATM, I've forgotten his call sign, can hear me. So it's I don't know. All right, thanks, Craig. Frank, VK3JR, VK3 EKH.
VK3 EKH, VK3JR, and everyone else. Good evening, Clinton. Thank you. I'll join the chorus on the mission audio situation on the ASP thing. I got very little. Otherwise, very good broadcast indeed. The current exoplanet count is 4678 with another 9 awaiting confirmation. Otherwise, nothing much to report. Special thanks to you, Ian, for the help that you're providing for me. Ian and I have interests in common, and Ian is providing me with a great deal of assistance, which is much appreciated. It's enough. VK3 EKH, VK3JR.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Much appreciated those comments. Most of tonight's stories I really managed to get all ready to go quite a few hours ago today. I was fairly quick to get it all sorted out, and I actually was sort of wondering if I should have played the video of the observatory until after the broadcast itself, and just done it as a separate screening altogether after I'd finished. So I wouldn't have had to worry about HF problems. But I thought, no, I'll run it on HF, and we'll see how we go. So there it is. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Okay. Anyway, thanks, Frank. No worries, mate. Thanks for calling in, and say good day to Steve a little later on, terms to SL for me. Ian, VK3 VIN. I hope it sounded okay for you up there. I'm sure it didn't. VK3 VIN, VK3 EKH.
Yeah, well, good. It's VK3 EKH, VK3 VIN. And no problems with that assistance, Frank. And there's plenty more good stuff to come. And Clint, I'm not going to add any more to the quality of the audio, but what I am going to tell you is it's not hopeless. It's just that the microphone that you use, which I think you said is attached to the camera, not the best microphone to use in that situation. What you need is something to cancel the noise, or to neutralise it. I did something similar for the centenary of the Geelong Art Gallery. Of course, it wasn't on YouTube, but we used lapel mics, and achieved some pretty good quality. Okay, it was still a bit lacking, but I'd just spend a little bit of time having the Astronomical Society investigate just a different type and better quality of microphone. And I don't know how close you managed to get to the tour guide, but some of it was quite acceptable. So the other problem with it was that it wasn't consistent. So a lot of the problem is in the type of microphone microphone that was being used. And I don't know that I'd use the one attached to the front of the camera. But there you go, just a comment. And we'll leave it at that. The rest of the broadcast, very good. Oh, just a quick comment to Craig. I wouldn't question your hearing on that one, Craig. I have recently been tested. I'm 69, and I was tested recently of having the hearing of a 34-year-old. So don't question the hearing. It's not that. Or it might be part of it, but it's not a significant amount of it. The rest of the broadcast seems very good, and always interested in planets and things that might bump into us and all of that type of thing, and definitely the ionospheric condition report. And incidentally, some of the best ionospheric reports occur on VK2WI in their broadcasts. They've been doing that for years. So I don't know if there's any way you can get hold of some of their predictions and things, but that might be worth a look. Okay, I'm on the Zygo again tonight, 20 watts, and the NFED wire. And I'm thinking about extending it. I've got some more room, but that might bring it closer to working on 160 metres. But I don't want to destroy the integrity of what I've got. Putting it up a little higher would be good. But I'm thinking of extending it to make something better on 160, or maybe a receiving loop. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for the broadcast. I know how much effort it takes, and quite enjoyable. VK3 EKH, VK3 VIN.
VK3 Hotel Kilo.
Right, acknowledging VK3 Hotel Kilo. It's a bit late for you. And who was the other station?
And VK3 HDX.
All right. Okay? Just before you there, Don. Is that you, Andrew? VK3 BQ. I think there's another station there that's got a Codan radio, so I thought it might have been Andrew. Who was the station that just called in before Don did, VK3 HDX? I think that's VK5 FUSE, I think. Is that correct? VK5 FUSE, correct? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if that's you there, Kim, or not. Just stand by, we'll get to you in a tick. It's just a little bit on the weak side. Alright, thanks Ian for that, yes, very interesting report. And unfortunately I had no control over the camera. That wasn't me doing the filming. It was Lee Green, one of the members of the ASV, who has a camera. I don't know what kind of camera he uses, but he was the one who's doing the filming. So I would say that he had he was using the internal mic, which probably would have been a shotgun type microphone perhaps on the camera, and I think he was wearing headphones because he was monitoring the audio, and he says a few times throughout the filming that the audio was being affected by sound, so by the wind across the mic, so he knew that there was a bit of a loss of sound at some stage. So I think he was trying his best to record the audio as best as possible. But you're right. Ideally, what would have been better was that each, both Alex and Mark, should have had wireless microphones. That's the way it should have been done. Wireless mics with a mic lapel microphone, and away we go. All right, but that's out of my control. Yeah. That's another story. Thanks, Ian. Next time we'll make sure it's better. All right, Peter, VK3ACZ, VK3EKH.
Yeah, VK3EKH in the group, VK3ACZ. Good evening, Clint and everybody. And no comments on the audio. I'm more interested in the content, and it was top notch as always, Clint. One thing for sure, I couldn't get into the VK6 SPRs tonight, but on 5 ARG, your 160 metres was a bit down at 5x5, whereas last week it was 5x9 there. But anyway, you were 5x9 plus on both Adelaide and over in ZL land, Rotorua. Solid good signal there with your 80 metres. Just as an aside, Clint, and not really part of the broadcast, but I'm still, I can report the fact that the solar activity yesterday didn't harm my experience on 20 metres. I'm still stunned by the fact that I reported G4AKC, Dave's Bicycle Mobile in Blackpool, England. He got through to my long wire at 5x4 on 1 watt and an unbelievable 3x2 on 100 milliwatts. You've probably had that experience often, but I'm amazed it's my first time, and it'll stop me feeling overwhelmed by QRP. But anyway, back on topic, Clint, thank you as always for your broadcast, keeping us informed and up to date. Cheers and thanks for what you do. 7-3 Clint, VK3EKH, VK3ACZ.
Yeah, good on you, Peter. VK3ACZ, VK3EKH replying. Very good. Thanks for the kind comments there, Pete, and acknowledge the signal report on the other station too. Look, I've been mobile up in Queensland on 20 metres, and talking back home here, and a station from Mexico called in, and I thought I thought the Mexican station wanted to chat to my friend down here in Bunyip, Graham, VK3GL, but he was actually more interested in getting a signal report from me because I was mobile in Queensland at the time, and he gave me brilliant signal reports. I can't remember what it was now. It was easy 5 and 9. So, and that was on 20 metres too, I think. So, yeah, there are good times. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, good on you, Peter. Thanks, mate. We have another Peter now. VK3BFG. Have a say, VK3EKH.
Yeah, good evening there, Clint, and everyone else in the group. This is VK3BFG. You're about 50 over 9 here tonight, Clint, and I thought the broadcast was spectacularly good. I don't, I'm not often out here at this hour of the night, but I was very pleased to get that video of the look around the observatory in Melbourne there. It was fantastic, mate. Anyway, keep up the good work, and don't listen to the people who are giving you bad reports. Everything's fine, mate. This is VK3BFG.
Thanks, Pete. VK3BFG, the key operator and owner of the TV repeater, VK3RTV, and I think he sleeps up there most of the time. Yeah, thanks, Pete. Yeah, no problems at all. As I've said, I'm certain that the video footage of that little excursion through the Melbourne Observatory was better copied across the TV repeater and YouTube. So once again, if there's people out there that want to catch up with that little journey through Melbourne Observatory, just go to the Astronomical Society's Victoria's YouTube channel, and it's all there from last Wednesday. The monthly meeting, it's available to view, not a problem at all. Alrighty then, to Martin, VK7JAH down in good old Tassie. Have the same, Martin, VK3EKH.
Good evening, good night tonight, here in New Albert. Winds are fairly good, with a high low tonight, and when I was away this year, given that we've had rather a lot rain static and thunderstorms and things like that, we're doing pretty well. Excellent night. Thank you very much. Over.
Thanks, Martin. VK7JAH, VK3EKH, returning. Very good. Thanks for the report there, Martin. Excellent stuff. I'm glad to see that we're getting across Bass Strait, and I think now that I've included a couple, fired up the linears which are just in the background below, behind my head there. I've improved signals a little bit, so it's good to see. Thanks, Martin. Good on you, mate. Thanks very much. Now, Andrew, VK3 Bravo Quebec. Now, I'm pretty sure it was you. If you're still there, I think you're mobile. VK3 BQ, VK3 EKH. Looks like you might have arrived at home. You still there, Andrew? VK3 BQ, VK3 EKH. No. Okay, it looks like he's arrived home. That might have been Andrew calling in before just to say that he was perhaps just arriving at destination or whatever. So sorry I missed him. Yeah, no worries, Andrew. Thanks for calling in. Got you down on the sheet here. No worries at all. I think Andrew's a former president of the Eastern Mountain District Radio Club too, if I remember correctly. Steve, VK3 Hotel Kilo. I hope I'm not keeping you up. VK3 HK, VK3 EKH.
I think I'm in a similar situation to Peter. Good evening, Peter. It's loud and clear over here in Knox/Ferntree Gully. Clint, I wouldn't be too worried about what these fellas are saying about your 160 metre signal. It's thumping out. You're a 30 dB over 9 here. I'm almost certain that you're using a vertical radiator. And if someone is trying to receive you, especially if they're up at Cape Clear and they're using a horizontal, they're going to get sweet Fanny Adams from you, and that's what he reckons he's getting. So I'd say that's what the problem is. On this frequency, you're hitting 40 over 9, 40 over 9, thumping in. I'm a little bit concerned that you left me hanging here so long. The nurse brought my glass of warmed milk earlier on. It's gone cold now while I've been waiting for you. What have you to say about that?
Well, this is Mr. Universe replying, and sorry about that, Steve. Dear. Steve's one of the coffee break members, the 11 o'clock session every morning, except for Sundays. And but yeah. Anyway, thanks, Steve. Is there anything else you want to say, or do you want to finish off that glass of lukewarm milk?
I'll have to ring for her and get her to reheat it. In fact, I think a fresh one would be in order. I'll talk to you. You're going to be home on Monday, I guess, maybe on the net. I'll talk to you about your audio then.
Yeah, cool. I'll be here. I'll be on the net, Coffee Break Net. No worries at all. I'll be here. And I'm using the monopole, the Hushcraft MA160V, which I got from Ross many years ago, and that's sitting about 60 metres away from me down the back paddock, which is about 6 metres from a flowing river, creek at least. No ground radials on that antenna. There is no ground radials at all. It's all purely ground conductivity because we're so close to the creek. The ground is quite wet. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks. Where are we? Thanks, Steve. Now I think we've got Kim, VK5 Foxtrot Uniform Sierra Echo. Is that right, Kim? Are you there? A little bit on the weak side, but we'll give it a go. VK5 FUSE, I think it is. VK3 EKH. Okay, I think you put it back to me. VK5 FUSE, VK3, I was about to say CSJ, VK3 EKH. Thanks, Kim. You're right in the noise. You're right on the noise floor here, so I didn't quite catch that, but I think you said I was 5 and 9. Yeah, all I heard really clearly enough was the 5 and 9 part of it. So thanks for the report. I know you're up there on the chat window, and I do appreciate the comment that you made about Jessica. She's with me every day, Kim, so there's no doubt about that at all. But thanks very much, Kim, for the report, and thanks for calling in. Much appreciated. Don, VK3HDX, VK3EKH.
Yeah, VK3EKH and the group, VK3HDX. Great broadcast, Clint. I've often wondered what it is I could contribute to the Astronomical Society. I think I now know, entering my 45th year in television production, I think we can offer them some help and maybe make a nice video of the Melbourne telescope and whatnot. So I might talk to you at some stage about that, because I think we could do it properly and let them have something that they could be proud of, and we could broadcast on commercial TV. It's not that hard to do. So I have to talk to you about that, but maybe that can be the contribution that I could make. But great broadcast, really appreciate it. Enjoy hearing it every Sunday night. 160 metres, you're 20 over 9 and over that sometime here. I'm listening on a vertical antenna too, so you're booming in. And I could even hear you when I was up in Sydney. So, better receiving at some places, I think. But no, you massive strong signal on 80 and 160. Thanks for your efforts. We all appreciate it. VK3EKH and the group, VK3HDX.
Good on you, Don. VK3HDX, VK3EKH. Well, look, I know that I agree. I think it would be great to be able to capture the Melbourne Observatory in better detail. It deserves it, and I know that it would probably be good timing when the Great Melbourne Telescope is restored back in the building. So that's happening. I'm not sure exactly when, but I know that they're restoring the Great Melbourne Telescope, which was partly destroyed in the fires up at Canberra a number of years ago. All those remaining bits were returned to a warehouse in Melbourne, and over the years there's been a great attempt to restore and get it back into working condition. So I suspect that a serious attempt to film the observatory, Melbourne Observatory, in its in a better light might be a good idea to wait until that telescope's restored, because that would be also potentially a good part of the story to capture and to store into onto film in a permanent feature. If Steve, VK3YJQ, who often comes up on the broadcast here, if Steve was available, he'd be able to fill you in on what's going on. He's key involved, one of the people that are involved with the restoration from a document point of view and various other technical aspects. So there you go. Thanks, Don. Appreciate that, and shall keep you in mind. Otherwise, apart from that, I mean, having a word with Chris Rudge, the president, and even Mark, who you saw in the video. He's the one with the coloured hair. He just loves that coloured hair concept. Mark is the vice president, so those guys I can introduce you to, and I'm sure they'd be happy to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, now, is there any other stations before we disappear? VK3EKH. Oh, Mike, do you want to say anything, Mr. XL?
No, not really. I've just been watching and listening.
Okay. Gee, you're a strong signal. Tony, Mr. VAT, are you there?
I am. VK3EKH, VK3VAT.
Okay, I just wanted to write you down in the book, guys. So there it is, Mr. XL and Mr. VAT. And I don't know if Mr. Sill is there, VK3WV. Are you there, Dan? gave you plenty of time to get out of that chair to get to the microphone, but you still didn't. So he's probably gone to sleep. All right, thanks, guys. That was a good turnout tonight. As far as stations, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's I think I've broken a record. So it's turned out quite well indeed. All right, thanks, boys and girls, for joining in tonight. Much appreciated, and we'll be back next Friday at 10 o'clock to do it all again. If I find a video to play, I'll make sure that it's better quality. I'll make sure of that. Anyway, cheers everyone, take care. If you want to find out more information about the ASV, like I say, go to the website, www.asv.org.au. It's all there. If you want to go up to the Dark Sky site in a couple of weeks' time, the Messier Star Party, get your tickets on the front via the Facebook page. By the ASV's webpage, homepage. It's all there to do, and we'll probably see you up there. I plan to try and get up there myself if I can. Thanks to all the people who've been in on the chat window too. Martin, Rob, Kim, Rob, Rich, Kim. That's just a handful of the usuals, so not a problem. Cheers guys, take care, look after yourselves. This is VK3 EKH, VK3 CSJ, concluding transmissions on 80 metres for tonight. Cheers one.
3 Kilo Golf.
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, Craig.
Interesting comments there about the reception. But if Steve is still listening, I have copied to the station before from here. That's why I was interested what the changes were down at your end, because there are no changes here over the years. I used to be able to listen on 160, and you always had certainly very good signal strength, but absolutely nothing. So I'll have to get a signal up some stage from someone just to confirm that that's all. And I've just knocked up YouTube at the moment, and I will sit down and run through that there. That Don's suggestion sounds very good also. So once again, thanks for the broadcast. Good broadcast, apart from the audio. VK3 KG.
Thanks, Craig. Not a problem, dear sir. Just quickly, you might have mentioned it, but I either wasn't listening or I forgot. What was the antenna you were using on 160?
Random long wire.
Okay, it's pretty random. All right. Okay, no worries. Okay, that's fair enough too. Yeah, look, once upon a time I had 3 160 meter antennas all connected to an antenna switch, and I was able to do a quick test. Antenna 1, 2, 3. So that was a vertical helical, the monopole, and the normal dipole, a full length half-wave dipole. But it was only mounted at 14 metres above ground, so all skywave and nothing else. At night time, it might have been all right. In fact, if I could just do that now, which I can't because one side of the dipole's fallen down, so can't do that test right now. But it would have been interesting to switch across to the dipole and just to see if that made any difference. Anyway, not to worry. Thanks, Craig. Good on you. VK3WV, VK3, I'll now CSJ, VK3WV, VK3 Charlie Sierra Juliet.
Yes, good evening, Clint. Took me a long time to reach the switch. That's all the problem was. So, quite good session tonight. I've got no complaints about the sound. I mean, although it was a bit rough in places, but what came through on ATV was quite acceptable. So there was not really a problem as far as I was concerned. And I was very interested to see the arrangement there. I haven't seen it all before. I passed by it a few times, but I've never actually been in there to inspect it. So it was quite good, very worthwhile. Anyway, carry on, old son. VK3 CSJ, whichever one it is, VK3WV.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. VK3WV, VK3CSJ, and I think there's a few folks saying goodbye up there on the chat window. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if you're still listening there, Robert, VK3XRA, Rob. I know that we've got an issue with the chat window, and I know you've got admin rights to it, so there's just a few things that might need to be happening. Richard's kind of across it, Mr. VRS, and I'm not sure if you're in the background there, Rich, but anyway, we can either sort it out maybe on the weekend or something, but oh yeah, look, Richard's typing something as I speak. I'm always here. Yeah, not always. when you say you got to go, you go. Oh dear. Anyway, all right. I haven't got much further here, so thanks for the report on the live footage. Yeah, like I've been saying, I think it was something that was far better picked up on TV, and particularly YouTube, because it was in HD, and the colour rendition, there was a bit better colour rendition I think on YouTube than what I was seeing off the repeater. But because one thing I note that with the standard definition transmission, a lot of the pixelization is it's not as bad. Now there was a lot of camera movement in that footage, and of course most of it there was pixelization, but it recovered quickly, and to some degree it really didn't seem to be that bad. But it's standard definition, and I've noticed that since I've been transmitting the standard definition, that fast motion on things is different. The repeater handles it differently, of course. There's conversion processes going on, I suppose. Let's see. As an example, I don't know if I can quickly find this. Oh, where have I got it? What's that? Oh no, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Now, I'm not sure how well this will come across, to be honest, but let's just see. There it is. Okay, now this is this cycling thing, and if it doesn't look good, I'll take it off. But just to give a bit of an idea of how the standard definition transmission is handling this stuff. Let's see, here we go.
OTB direct. Oh, ça va, allez les gars, soudez.
I don't like it.
Allez, on s'entend bien.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. I won't show much more of that. So it's a bit of a shame. Actually, out of interest, I'll just go to the input channel. I've got input here. I'll just do a quick confirmation on all that. So I'll run it again.
Allez Popo, allez Allez Popo. Allez. Mec, où tu vas? Allez les gars. Magnifique, magnifique. Laisse-moi aller.
Yeah, not a problem on the input on 1255 uplink. I don't have to use. Oh yeah, I'm not. There's no pixelization. It's just a beautiful standard def picture. So yeah, poor old repeater is having a hernia on stuff like that. But funnily enough, I did play this at 2 o'clock in the morning a few weeks ago, and it seemed to handle it quite well. But I've got a few copies of this video that's been done differently, and I think this is the original footage. So it might have been Tony on 23 somewhere, I'm not sure. Anyways, alright, there it is. So thanks, Den, for the report. You're in the log, and I'll get a QSL card out to you shortly. Oh, sorry? What was that? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got rid of that, so it should be okay now. I know it does that. VK3WV, VK3CSJ.
Really? Yeah, no problem, please.
Alright, Tony, do you want to say anything? Alright, no worries. Let me just kill a few things behind me here, because I don't really need it for you blokes. Alright. That's reduced that scenario. And I've got fans that were going in the background there. So the only fan that's going in here right now is the one in the TV transmitter. Now, I'm just having a quick look to see if they have updated in my news, astronomy news file. Okay, so that goes back to there. A closer look. Alien space archaeology. A spinning dancing galaxy. Asteroid impact. Wiped out a city. That's a story I could have played tonight. The sky's top 10. Why can't we see the moon during the day? Who says that? Because you can see the moon during the day. Cosmic bug nebula. Drones found the meteorite lit up. Explored the moon first quarter. Nope. Astronomy.com under the news tab have no updates that I can see on that impact, which did occur, and I know that they positioned the lunar reconnaissance probe to be in position to try and capture footage of it, even though it would have been in the dark. They would have only really recorded a bright explosion, but there's nothing there. I'll have to investigate that, Tony, and if I can find a report somewhere including pictures and graphics and maybe video footage, I shall include that for next week. So I did think about that earlier today, but it just went straight out of my mind, and I didn't go looking. So I'm sure there's something around on it, but I haven't seen it yet, so not a problem. We'll follow it up next week for sure. Have a say, Den, to acknowledge Uncle Tony. VK, and note that you've been working long hours, Tony. VK3WV in the group, VK3CSJ.
1221. VK3CSJ and VK3VAT with the other stations, VK3WV. Yes, okay. Good evening to you, Tony. Well, it's not good. Well, it is good evening for a very short time, and it'll be good morning very soon. 12 hours is not great shifts, are they? Especially when you've got to do a few of them on the run. So, yeah. Well, I've been around the place today, but I haven't done too much. It's been a fairly easy day from from my point of view. Rang up
Just be back in a tick.
about a few different things. Okay, Clint. And that's been about my lot, I suppose. I'm not too far off hitting the cock myself. Anyway, nice to hear that you're still alive and kicking and enjoying life. Well, perhaps you're not enjoying life, I don't know. I'm on the low power transmitter tonight, so I don't think too many people are going to hear me. VK3VAT, VK3WV. Yeah, VK3WV, VK3VAT. Yeah, you're doing 20 hours tonight. So, yeah, it's not an issue. I can hear you, it's not a problem. I don't even know what power I'm running. I'm probably, probably 200 watts. No, I'm not. I can't remember how to use these things. I don't use it enough. Anyway, I can't push that little button while I'm transmitting, so bad luck. It's probably on about, I don't know, 50 watts, might be on 100 watts, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger. At least it was only 2 days this week, not 5, like last week. Wiped me out last week. But, yeah, so I won't be doing much on the weekend. I'm debating whether to go in on the weekend or not, and so we'll just see how I feel. Because there's just things I didn't get done that I think things are gonna run over Monday and holiday, so Tuesday I think things are gonna run, but because they annoyed me so much I didn't get anything, something that I started that they wanted me to do done. Making one of the guards up, so it's sitting there and they won't be able to run production on Tuesday. So bad luck, maybe. It depends how I feel. So I haven't said yes. Well, I haven't told them I'm going in, but I'll see how I go. If I feel like it or not, otherwise I can wait. All good, yeah. I gallivanting around as you've been. I either put petrol in the car or that was $1 something. Or $1.90, whatever it was, I can't remember. But I suppose when you need it, you need it. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't empty. I think it still cost me, I can't remember what it cost me. I was 30 litres in, so whatever that works out to be, $60 thereabouts. Anyway, and that's pretty much it. Just the usual going on here. Just, work, home, calls, work, home, and that sort of stuff. VK3, push back to CSJ, VK3, VAT in the group.
Yeah, no worries, Tony. Was there another station there?
Yeah, 1 Tango Yankee.
VK1 Tango Yankee. VK1 Tango Yankee. All right, have to say, VK1 Tango Yankee. The name here is Clint. VK3 CSJ and Dennis VK3WV and Tony VK3VAT. VK1 Tango Yankee. VK3 CSJ.
Roger there, VK3 CSJ. VK1 Tango Yankee. Good afternoon and good evening to you gentlemen there. Then here is Temp Tango India Mike. I'm located down in Sales here of Lima Echo down in southeastern Victoria there. Just was scanning up from the CW portion of the 80 metre band here, and I heard you gents and blowing out my S meter here. Absolutely booming signals. You're 5 and 9, 20 plus in the hit band, and the other station just before was 5 and 9, 20 plus, but I can't hear WV. I can't hear Whiskey Victor at all. He's right down in the mud for me, so I reckon it's just conditions for you. Rig here is a India Charlie 7000 and just using a multi-band vertical. Back to you, Clint. VK3 CSJ, VK1 TTY.
VK1 TTY. And in Gippsland Portable, I guess. VK3 VAT WV, VK3 CSJ. Yeah, no worries, Tim. Well, you're hovering between 10 to 20 over 9. A little bit of QSB, but basically peaking up to 20 over 9 and not doing too bad for your IC 7000 and the multi-band vertical, I think it was. So doing pretty good coming in from sale. Yeah, the station here is a 756 Pro 3 IC. It's an icon box. IC756 Pro 3, and we're now running 100 watts. I had the linear on before, running a couple of extra 100 watts there, but I've now knocked that off, so it's barefoot as such. And we've got a inverted V. We're using a inverted V dipole, supported by an LE tower about 14 metres above ground. So that's the working conditions here, as they say. But certainly if you type in VK3CSJ in the QRZ.com, you'll find more information there and some pictures of the shack as such. Okay, thanks Tim, good to hear you, and thanks for calling in. I think Dennis would have heard you, yeah, Den's antennas are a little bit low on the ground, and he needs to also get an LE tower up as well. Anyway, but he's not too worried because he only talks to the local lads anyway. Alright, so I'll pop it across to Dennis anyway. VK3WV, VK3VAT there, VK3 and VK1TTY, VK3CSJ.
Okay, Clint, no problem. VK1CTC7 TTY. I knew I'd get it right sooner or later. VK3CSJ VAT WV. Yeah, no, look, I'm not surprised he doesn't hear me. The vertical here really isn't too much chop when it's all said and done. And I'm using the FT7, which is good for about 10 watts. So that's about it. I mean, if I got enthusiastic, A, put it on the other aerial, B, put the 706 on, and then C, put the 2100 on, I'm sure he'd hear me. But as it stands at the moment, well, that's not the scenario. And as you've alluded to, I'm not really in a situation where I need to. So yeah, that's what's happened with that. Yeah, I haven't done that much today. As I was saying to Tony, it's been a reasonably quiet day here for me today. I've been having a few bits of health problems really, and it's been slowing me down quite a bit. I've got to go and see the medicine man on Tuesday, and get a few things sorted, I guess. So yeah, nothing really to report on. Haven't done anything exciting or interesting or played with anything too much. But when I do, I'll get around to telling you all about it, I guess. Anyway, I won't hold long. I'm going to wander off to the cot and see if I can actually manage a bit of decent night's sleep. VK3VAT, VK3CSJ with VK1TTY, who's probably given it away now. VK3WV. VK3WV, VK3VAT in the group, yes. It gets a bit like that, doesn't it? I am a bit tired too, so it won't be too far out of bed, I don't think. I'm like my usual, depends if Clint's come out for stuff on RTV, like at least I haven't watched that. But yeah, I don't think he likes to put stuff up now, there's no HD. There was something else in there I was going to say too. I can't remember what it was. anyway. And while putting that back up to you, I guess, Quinn, and you can put it over to, I couldn't catch VK1 double TY's name, VK3 CSJ, VK3 VK2. You've got to sort it out.
Okay. VK3 VAT, VK3 CSJ, and yeah, look, I won't hang around as much as I could. I'll Mum's catching up with. She's been watching a program on Channel 7, and that's about to come to a finish. And if I'm not down there to change channels, then well, she falls asleep. Oh dear. Okay, Dan, on your health issues there. Yeah, I know there's been something niggling there in the background. I've got to take Mum to eye specialist on Tuesday, so I've got a especially long weekend. Tuesday, I'm taking Tuesday off as an RDO, but my sister normally takes Mum across to this eye specialist, and but she's not available, so she's asked me if I can do that. So it's I think it's around 1 o'clock. It's the appointment, and it's somewhere on the other side of, well, it's in the Ringwood area. I just downloaded something. I'm trying to find where it went. The image, there's a kind of a GIF image of the impact, and I can't see where it went. It should be here somewhere. If I go all files, I might see it. No, it's not there. Wouldn't it bother you? No, I can't see it. It's always an issue when you're downloading something. You've just got to keep track of where the file decides to download to. So I don't know what's happened to it. I thought it was in my downloads file where things normally go. I can see that. I can see all this other stuff, but it's not showing me this image that they've got here of an impact on the moon. But it's not real. It's kind of just an illustration of what's. Oh, here it is. And there's Richard. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up on the repeater. Here we go. Here's this thing. Well, I thought I'd show you. At least a bit of an idea of what it was going to look like. I don't know if there's any sound effects with that. Hang on, let me just call my audio. No, I can't. There's no sound effects. So there you go. There's a simulated explosion sound effect. Anyway, I'll see if I can find something that's more real. That's right grammar. Better, something real, something that hopefully has been found by the system. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll put it across to Tim just to see if he's still there. But okay, Tim. Thanks for calling in. And we're all in the Narre Warren area. Tony's in Berwick. He's about 2 kilometres away. Dennis is just up the hill. He's about 600 metres away, and we're all in this kind of Narre Warren South area. So we're all. I'm transmitting a television picture, a TV picture through the Melbourne TV repeater, which is I'm still on YouTube here. I've just noticed, so I'm still streaming on YouTube. Oh dear. All right, just to see if you're still there, Tim. VK1 TTY, VK3 CSJ.
Yeah, VK3 CSJ, VK1 TTY. When I pulled up your the QRZ page there, and I realised that actually who you were, and I said I've joined the Astronomical net quite a few times in the past, but I've unfortunately haven't had the capabilities to be on 80, but yeah, I've finally got the replacement coil, the replacement loading coil for the vertical there, and yeah, it came in the mail a couple of days ago, so got that all strapped on, and yeah, we're ready to go on 80 again. But yeah, no worries there, Clint. Well, you have yourself a lovely rest of your night, and go and get horizontal, mate, and get some Z's. But we'll catch you later. VK3 CSJ in the group. VK1 CTYT 3541. Good night.
Yeah, no worries, Tim. So you're right next to a computer right now, are you?
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and type in VK3CSJ, because I'm currently streaming on YouTube. So if you can open up YouTube and go and type in VK3CSJ into the search engine there for YouTube, you'll see a live link to the YouTube channel, and you can see me streaming as I speak there, Tim. So how's that going?
Yeah, Roger, got it right here, mate. Got it right here. But yeah, thank you very much for the contact there, and we will catch you later down the log there, Clint. VK3, Charlie, Sugar, Juliet, Victor Kilo 1, Tokyo, Yokohama. Good night, mate.
Good on you, Tim. No worries, mate. Good to hear you. Thanks for calling in too. Excellent stuff. All right, guys. Well, we'll may as well call it quits then, and shut down the system and cool down the repeater. So, I do make maximum use of this repeater, don't I, at this time of the night? But there it is. It's all good. It's at least it's in cool conditions. Outside temperature is 11 degrees at the moment. It's almost winter, so she's going to be a nice day tomorrow, I believe, and then Sunday gets a little warmer. So I might cut the grass tomorrow. It needs recutting. Is there anything else I can update on anybody about anything? I don't think so. I think that's it. So cheers, Den. Get to bed, and the same to you there, Tony. VK3WV to sign VK3CSJ.
Okay, Clint, very good. VK3CSJ, group VK3WE. Interesting to see Richard come up on RTV2. Obviously, you can get in there from that side of yours into two, as well as one. So you've obviously got it set up pretty well there, Richard. Anyway, very good. What was the comment I was going to make? Oh, yeah, to Tony, I've been mucking around with my weather station. A very cheap weather station. I cleaned it all out and I got it going, and it's actually pretty accurate from what it turns out. The only thing is that, as I mentioned, I can't get any wind speed because the anemometer cups, note the word, anemometer cups, Clint's listening very carefully to that, were damaged. And I rang up the people who supply these things, and of course the time I was researching it was out of hours for us down here in Melbourne, but the place is actually sited over in WA, so I thought, they'll still be there. So I rang them up, and I got a girl on the end. I asked her about these cups, and she didn't have a clue what I was talking about. And I explained it, and she still didn't know what I was talking about. And she said there was no one there that I could talk to anyway, and that she was only there to answer the phone. So she wasn't much use, so she said you have to go to the website. I told her I've already done that, and didn't derive much glee at all. So she said, well, you'll have to get onto the website in business hours. So I did that, and sent a message over there, because the things weren't advertised directly on the
on the site. And I asked the girl if, well, not the girl, it was a female. I really don't know whether they actually had them in stock and what the price was. And then I got an email back to say, oh, you're out of hours here too, old son. I'm not going to talk to you. Well, put a slightly different way. No, I had to wait for an answer to come today. And they said, oh yeah, we've got them here, we've got them for sale, all you've got to do is go to the website. And they gave me a site to go, which was actually more comprehensive than what the one was that was on the net directly. And they didn't have them in there either. I don't know. I think I'll have to get onto them again on Monday and ring up the consultant directly. The service I think is good, but I don't think they know what they're talking about. But the rest of it's working quite well, actually. I've been surprised how good it is. Well, it's a very cheap one. And it doesn't have the ability to put it on the internet. It does work on Wi-Fi. Just to comment to you there, Clint, my research indicates that the 917 meg units are not for Australia. They're overseas units. Anything in Australia is on 433. So I don't know about the 917 being used here at all. Anyway, that's some of the information that I did glean whilst puddling around on the internet over a week or so. Anyway, I shall bow out at this stage, gentlemen. Now, one thing I was going to do, I was thinking I could probably just about put a picture up of my readout of the weather station. And I fiddled around with that a little bit today, actually. But the glass on the front of it is not non-reflective. In other words, it is reflective, and you sort of put the camera in front, and the thing sees this big picture of the camera, and you stand behind the camera, and you get a big picture of you with all of the data underneath it. And fiddle around and play around with it, there's no way you get sorts of reflections. So that's for what it's worth, which is probably nothing. Anyway, I'll put down at this stage, chaps, and I'll kick it along a bit further another day and another night. And good evening to you there too, Richard, if you're still there. Yeah, down to you there, Tony, and then I'm out of it. VK3 VAT with the group, VK3WV clear. No worries, VK3WV, VK3 VAT in the group. Yeah, all good. Alright. Yeah, some of these surface places are a bit to be desired, don't they? I was also wondering if you could put other thermometer cups on there. But I know, like with the two I've got, one spins one way, and the saver spins the other way, so you should have to watch on if you could get them to fit, if you can put them to run the right way as well. But anyway, it sounds like you can get them. I suppose it's just a matter of finding someone who knows what you're actually talking about, I guess. Alright, you have a good night. I suppose I might even have to cut the grass last week, but I noticed I come home the next day and it's already grown. So it's really annoying. But anyway, I suppose it's not going to stop because it's annoying me. Alright, you have a good night, Dennis, and I'll talk to you possibly over the weekend. VK3 VK3 VAT group, my diminishing group.
Oh, yeah. All right, Tony, no worries. VK3 VAT, VK3WV, VK3 CSJ concluding transmissions for tonight and the stream. Yeah, the Davis weather stations do operate on 900 megs. It's around 915, I think, but they do operate in the 900 meg band, somewhere up there, far away from 400 megs. So I think this frequency is stipulated on the Davis weather site. You can see that. Okay, cheers everyone, take care, and to anybody still watching on the stream there, see you blokes watching on the stream if there's anybody, and we'll see you all next week, or at least you guys will over the weekend at some stage, no doubt. Anyway, cheers everyone, take care. This is VK3 CSJ Clear on here and TV.